Hello, and welcome to Biblically Correct. You're going to notice on this episode and a lot of the future episodes, there's some changes. What I'm trying to do now is to do a podcast on the setting of the New Testament, where I'm going to go into a lot of the historical and cultural background of the New Testament, which will help you to understand the Bible correctly and in a better way. So you'll be able to see this here on YouTube, or you'll be able to listen to it on most of the places where you can listen to a podcast, and you'll be able to see those in the comments. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope that this is a helpful thing for you as you seek to understand the Bible more. Hello, and welcome to the New Testament Setting Podcast. So this is a new podcast. It's kind of a hobby, so we'll see how it goes. The main goal of this podcast is to introduce you to the setting of the New Testament. So that means historical setting, that means social setting, and we may expand from there to literary setting and other things. But the main thing is the historical and social setting of the podcast. So, first of all, who am I and why am I talking about this? So, my name is Benjamin Browning. I have a PhD in New Testament from New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, and I love talking about the history and the social setting of the New Testament. Why? Why is that important? Why should we be studying this? Well, if you're somebody who is a Christian, then it's important because you want to understand the New Testament and you want to understand the real setting of the New Testament. If you're not a person who is a Christian, if you're just a person who you just love reading ancient literature, or you love history, then this will also be an interesting podcast for you. Because what I'm going to be talking about is the real history behind the New Testament, the history that frames what happens in the New Testament. So we often hear about the stories of Jesus, of the Apostle Peter, the Apostle Paul, and other important figures like James and John and many others. But often we hear these stories or we read these letters from the New Testament, and what ends up happening is we think of them in our own modern context. So then there are things that we think make sense that we're actually misunderstanding. Or there are things that just we hear and we just don't understand what on earth is going on. So the goal of this podcast is really to help you to frame and understand what's going on in the background of the New Testament, both in terms of history and in terms of society. So think about this, just the way life works in general, right? If you have a conversation with someone and you're talking about the way that the politics or what's happening in your country. Well, if someone from another country comes in and they don't know about all that backstory and all that other stuff that's happening in the background, what will happen is they'll hear what you're saying and they'll filter it through their cultural lens. And maybe some things they'll think they'll understand, and maybe some things they just won't understand at all. But we do that with the New Testament. We come to the New Testament with our own historical background and our own social background, and we can read that into the New Testament if we're not careful. So the goal of this podcast is to help you to understand the history and the social, cultural background behind the New Testament. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we're going to look at history. We're going to talk about the events leading up to the New Testament. We're going to talk about the events during the period of the New Testament, and we're going to talk about what happened immediately after, while you have the New Testament being formed, in the sense of you have people writing this stuff down. So we're going to talk about all those things. Then once we've kind of set that overarching storyline in place, then what I'd like to do is then go in through interviews of scholars and through just me kind of explaining it to you, I'd like to explain certain social background issues related to the New Testament. So I think this will be fun. I think it'll be interesting. This is my favorite field. Like I said, I got a PhD in this just because I enjoy talking about it. I love this field. So I hope you enjoy this trip coming alongside with me. All right, well, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. But I need you to do one more thing for me. I need you to like, subscribe, share on social media, comment, get the word out there. It really helps the channel. We really appreciate it. Thanks.